Hey, what's up, you guys? Thought I'd make a quick video talking about tiling. I am not a tile guy. I've helped with one bathroom like a decade ago. Um, so this will be my first solo project. And I was looking online, trying to learn more about setting up reference lines and using lasers and whatnot. And there's not really a lot of clear-cut, concise videos. So I kind of picked through pieces of different videos and I'm going to try to gather everything and condense it down. So basically, when you're tiling a room, the first thing you need to do is figure out what walls are going to be your reference walls. What walls do you want the tile to be complete, nice straight lines on? For me, it's going to be against the bathtub and against this door wall here, which means if there's any diagonal cuts, which of course every room will be slightly out of square, it'll be on that wall and this wall. Nobody cares about the closet. So first thing to do, figure out the distance of your tile and a grout joint. And for me, the tile's 8 7/8. Grout joint is an 1/8, so that's clean 9 inches. I'm sorry, 7 7/8, 1/8, so it's 8 inches. So your first reference line should be a multiple of your tile width and your grout joint width, which is going to be 8. Really, maybe 8 1/8 because of that grout joint, or it's just going to be the hard line of the tile. So 48, this is probably 54 or 56. So once you get that reference line, now you're going to get your other one. And I think it's easier to just do a partial layout so you can really see how the spacing is, especially with hexagonal tile in a diamond orientation. It's much easier with rectangular tile. But I will make marks of where this tile line is and then get measurements and see how square it is to that wall. It may need to shift a tiny bit to make it more square to that wall. Also, it's a good idea to take a 4-foot level and check your walls. Make sure they don't bow out or bow in at all, that they're nice and straight if they're going to be a reference wall. Unfortunately, the tub does dive into the room about a 1/4 inch right here around the corner in the toilet. So I know that I'm good to use this part of it as a reference, but not to make any reference measurements based off of the tub to a point or the other wall. So once you've got a reference line going one way and a reference line going another, those are where you're going to start your tile runs. You're going to line up the edges of your tile or whatever part of the tile. Maybe it's the diamond point, like in this case for me, it's the diamond point on some and then the short edge on the other. You're going to line that up to your reference lines. And if you've done your math properly, everything is going to be nice and square. It's also important, and this is why I think laying them out beforehand is a great idea, to make sure that they're going to look good and centered in the doorway. Don't get so lost on your reference lines and squaring it to a wall that you end up making it look really bad in one way or another. So a lot of tile guys are not going to waste the time to do any type of layout, but me, being beginner at this, it helped a ton. And now I know that this is going to look awesome for the client. So, reference lines, tile layout, you got to do your hardy backer and a mortar bed. And there, it's a little high over here and it's a little over here. And that's what makes this laser so awesome, because it starts out in a locked mode and you can unlock it where it will self-level on both the X and the Y axis. And that's really useful when you're trying to get your height properly. Now, you see this threshold, piece of marble or whatever, has a bevel. So it actually wants to be flush with the wood floor, and then it's going to raise up the tile height another 1/4 inch or so. So I got some pieces of cardboard under it, getting it pretty much on point. And that way I could use it with this card that they include with the laser. So we call it a reference card. But basically, you're going to see where on your highest point of your floor, which is the threshold, where that line goes across the card. And the trunnion or whatever it's called needs to be unlocked so that you're getting a level line. It's not important. They have all these numbers on it and everything. Get focused on trying to do all the math and the numbers because it's a reference line. So you see that little black Sharpie mark? that is where the laser projects when I'm on the threshold. So that is going to be the final floor height that I want from these tiles. So now I can take every tile, lay it, and go, okay, well, my mortar bed's going to be about that much, right? And I just spent the last 30 or 40 minutes going through all the math of this and realizing that trying to use the centimeters or the inches, it's pointless. You really just need to get your laser leveled at the highest point, and then take laser doesn't have to be at the highest point, but you want to take the card and put it at the highest point, and then make your Sharpie mark wherever the X line is on that. And so now, when I begin to lay the tiles, I can put that card on each tile, and it'll tell me if I need more or less mortar. And then after that, hit it with your torpedo level. Then once you got a good patch going, get your 4-foot level and check it again. And should be ready to rock and roll. Also, you know, tile saws are great for weird cuts, but a tile score is cheaper, dustless, not very noisy, and pretty accurate, pretty clean on the line cutting. You know, with sheetrock, when you score it, you end up with a bunch of extra. You usually got to clean it up. This is pretty perfect. And also, another good tool to have, diamond tile masonry cutting bit on an angle grinder. So I'm not actually going to use a tile saw for around the toilet drain. I'm probably just going to use this guy. It works wet or dry. Unfortunately, I'm going to be doing it dry, so that's going to be fun. But I'll probably just take it downstairs and outside for that. Hope this helps and provides a little bit clearer information on how to start a tile layout, how to properly use the laser line, so you not only get straight lines, but you also have the right height. And the other advantage of this is I don't have to snap a chalk line or draw a line on the floor. If I have a second one, I could just lay, and I do have a second one at the house, I could just lay the second one out. So for this, I will pop one line and then use the laser level as the other. Have a good day, y'all.